Hi, my name is John and this is Business Focus. In today's video, we'll be talking about something more of a personal experience that I've encountered this past few weeks or past month or so. Now, for those who are regular viewers, you have noticed that I haven't been regularly uploading with regards to the Business Focus live segments because of having internet issues to begin with. And the sad fact is, I lost our internet connection for the past month or so. And I had this interesting experience with how I got back my connection later on. But to begin with, and it all started with, as with any experience, a problem arose. One expecting, from your ISP, in this case, I'm talking about PLDT. You subscribe to their service hoping to get your money's worth in terms of getting connection, and in this case we've subscribed to a landline service, so we've been using for their services for, I don't know, the fiber connection that we have for several years already now. It's not perfect, and it only took this incident for us or even me to consider if there are any better options out there, which despite the ordeal, the problem that I encountered, which is pretty significant, enabled us to look for better options, which, sad to say, not sad to say, glad to say that I'm happier now with the final outcome, that is, we were able to find a suitable partner. But so let me explain what happened here. So obviously, typically when you encounter problems with any types of services, you call up their customer service so that they can fix the problem, whatever it may be. Which, interestingly enough, for PLDT, your only option is to either go to their stores or call their hotline. Now, obviously, for convenience purposes, you want to use their hotline so that you don't have to go to their stores, right? Make it convenient, right? So the contact number that you can call is this number. Now it's either 171, or you can use the 58 and then 171. Now I didn't know there was a difference in those two when you make a call to PLDT, meaning on one of those numbers you will get an automated service, and the other one you'll be able to talk to a customer's service person at the other end of the line. And sad to say, when I initially called, I got automated service, which is, if you're going to automate the service to expedite the process, make sure you have allotted all the different contingencies that the different customers may encounter, so that it can be rectified. If there's a problem, they create a ticket number, and then they will get back to you, which I didn't get in this case. And obviously it's not just me who's using the internet service at home. I live with my family, with my parents, and so forth. So we all share the service here. So everyone was affected, especially for the kids who is going, they have their online classes. So it's pretty important the internet connection, is stable, that we are able to use it for work and for school purposes here. Anyway, my dad called the other number and he was able to contact the service representative and reported the problem. But interestingly enough, and I think this is one of the main pitfalls of many of the of many businesses that offer services, is they do not provide immediate feedback in terms of what the problem is, how can it be rectified, and so forth. So since from day one, it took a couple of days, and then we didn't get any reply. And then my dad decided that we should go to one of their stores and report this problem personally, and which beat the whole point of having a hotline, which is in a sense useless if it doesn't get the job done, and investing in those technologies means nothing if the customers are not satisfied, or the problems is not rectified. Anyway, going to one of their stores, we went to SM Manila, and you had to wait a long line, again another queue which takes a long time. and getting to the front of the line, and the only thing they could do is report the problem and send a technician to get it fixed. And my question was at that time, yes, getting a technician to get it here, but they should come prepared in terms of checking the lines, meaning inside your home, if there's any disruptions in the disconnection, maybe a tear in the fiber wire or fiber uh, line in itself, or is there something there's a problem outside, meaning where the line is attached to, let's say, the post on the public street and so forth. And yet they would only send a technician that would check the line inside the household, which when they did, and they would say they would report back and get back to us, which is, again, you have to wait a few more days, and then we have to follow it up, not the other way around, so that we can be informed and how long is it going to take before it, the problem will be fixed. Interestingly enough, the technician that came to our house and checked on the line says, there was no problem with the line inside the house. I mean, there's a problem on PLDT side. And I think the keyword that he mentioned was that the line needs to be activated of sorts. There's an update that's happening within our area. So I said we have to wait. Okay. And then we wait for several days. So this is after a week already of reporting the issue. So we still got no internet here. So obviously people are getting antsy, not being able to use internet, a variety of purposes, especially if you're stuck at home. Considering my parents, my mom likes to watch, movies or TV series and whatnot, and obviously having no internet connection is problematic, and they don't even understand the concept of having mobile data is another one, and which is pretty expensive if you're going to use your smartphones to tether to your daily usage at home, which what my wife and I did to be able to sustain ourselves. So we didn't technically lose internet connection, but it was a pretty expensive ordeal. We have to pay, I think, double the amount that we would normally pay for our mobile subscription. The main impact affected not just my parents, but my kids, who obviously has been assimilated in terms of playing games online, and watching internet, YouTube, different contents online, and not having those access, can be frustrating. But the good thing about that experience is giving them an opportunity to do something else in terms of playing their toys, reading books, and doing something else, something more productive than just consuming online content or watching videos and so forth. Anyway, so we're now in the week 2 of the ordeal or the problem, and again, we had to follow it up, us calling them using the hotline. And again, the customer representative told us that there was a problem with the line. My question to them was, how long is it going to take to get it fixed? And they couldn't give us a straight answer, which is, the whole point, because obviously as the days, weeks pass by, if the problem is not going to be settled, then we need to find alternative solutions to be able to rectify this situation. And I think my mom was at the very beginning was already telling me that maybe we need to switch ISP services if PLDT is going to insist or not of not fixing this right away, or even finding us a temporary solution. And they're going to lose a key customer who have been using the services for several years. Anyway, so we reported it, and I got started looking around, shopping around which other service provider or ISPs that we can look at. And obviously, there are only a few players here in our country that offer fiber services here. So, namely, you have PLDT, you have also Globe, uh, then you also have Converge. So, thinking that I'm already a Globe mobile subscriber, so I was thinking I check out what Globe is offering here, and I did a comparison of the three, and lo and behold, if this situation didn't prop up, I wouldn't have noticed that other companies are offering better services than PLDT as it currently stands. So let me show you what I mean. So as it stands currently, PLDT is offering these options for their fiber plans. Now you may notice here, yes, they may offer 100, 200, 400, 1000 Mbps, right? But if you look closely, initially they were only offering 50 Mbps. And I think we paid uh, close to 2,000 pesos. I'm not sure if it's 100 Mbps, but that doesn't guarantee you get the maximum connection speed. And that's the thing you have to remember. They may say that the connection is up to a certain speed or up to 100 or 200 Mbps, but it will not always reach that maximum. I think they mentioned that it will give you a minimum speed 30% and then a on average get you close to 70% of that rated speed. But anyway, you may notice here, so they were initially offering 100 Mbps, a little over 2,000 pesos here, and plus the landline here. That's why we chose that in the first place, because we've been using PLDT line for several decades already. And then I shopped around, looked at Globe and Converge, and an interesting popped up. So if you notice here, for Globe, they offered 1,700 pesos. They're offering a minimum of 150 Mbps. That's significantly higher than what PLDT is offering in their first two options here. And you have to go a tier higher to be able to get close to what they're offering now. Actually, I was considering whether to get the 150 Mbps or 300 early on, because I was thinking there's only 400 pesos, 500 pesos difference, and you can get double the speed here. And I tried applying later on, and which had another twist in the story here, which I'll explain in a little bit. But anyway, so looking at Globe's offering here makes a more compelling case in terms of their servicing. But the thing that you have to remember is, even if you're interested in getting their services, you have to check for the availability, because Globe's offering is tremendous, but their access to certain areas is very limited. And as the technician mentioned to me when they were installing the fiber line, that the main access point or the post that they're using on the main streets is their hub, not like PLDT, which is interconnected in the main streets as well as the side streets in many areas in the metro here. Anyway, so looking for this, so I compared also what Converge is offering here. And if you notice here, Converge used to offer only 50 Mbps, worth 1,500 bucks, and they only increased it to 100 Mbps to entice the customers. And if you notice, and if you go slightly higher, to 2,500, you'll get 300 Mbps. And if you compare to what PLDT is offering, is nowhere close, maybe double or even triple the speed that they're offering here. And what's interesting here is Converge has a night and day offering, I think. Or was it? Ah, yes. They're offering a time of day, which could give you better value depending on when you're using it. Using it more often, is it during the day or during at night, which I'll share in a bit later on. Anyway, so I'm still waiting for PLDT to get it fixed, and I couldn't get a reply or certainty as to what's the outcome going to be, and we just had to wait. And that's going from week 2 to week 3 already, and by then we've already decided to switch to a different ISPs, and we're considering Converge or even Globe to offer better services here. And the sad fact is, if PLDT were able to solve their problems, they could have retained our services. And little did we know that if we were still paying a higher amount for a slower speed for the connection. And if this problem didn't prop up, we wouldn't have noticed that and considered other options, which is why we switched to a different carrier. Now, the second part of the story is, yes, we were dead set on switching already. My first option was to consider Globe, which obviously made sense, as I mentioned earlier. So I went to their store to apply, because using their hotline is another mess altogether, which I'll explain in a little bit why is that problematic also. Anyway, so I went to the store to apply for, fiber connection. Now the interesting here, I live here in Manila, but at the time I made the application, I was in the area. I went to the southern area in Alabang, and I applied there near inside the festival mall. They had a branch, a Globe branch there. So they went through the process. There, one of their people inside got my details, photocopied my ID, signed the signature, which plan you were choosing, and by then we've already decided to choose the 2100 uh, uh, offering or plan to get 300 Mbps. And I asked how long is going to be the installation, because as the weeks were moving along and my kids was nearing to their opening of their school, so it was imperative that we get the internet connection fully on back online. And they mentioned that it would take a day or two, and by the time we finished signing the document, so I was assured that it would be installed in a day or two, and then went our way, and we came back home. Then it was a Monday, they didn't come, so I said maybe Tuesday they'll come. And then by Wednesday they didn't come, and I tried calling their hotline, which is if you were to check online, either you call their hotline using 121, or if you call their hotline here, 7730 1000, which is automated here, which is another problematic. And you will see, you will notice a trend here, regardless if it's PLDT or Globe. They wanted to use better technology to optimize their customer service, which is fine, but not being able to help or address your problems or concern is pretty frustrating, meaning you have to go to their stores, and going to their stores has a long queue again. And it can get pretty frustrating, and typically many people would uh, vent their frustration on the people that they're talking to, typically the customer representative. On my part, I try to hold back, because obviously you cannot blame the people, in the customer service. They're only doing their job. It's the company itself of implementing such, flawed system that makes it difficult, and making it a normal occurrence is unacceptable in my opinion anyhow. Anyway, so calling their hotline service was a futile effort, because I can get a feedback on terms of the update or when's the connection, and I can talk to a customer representative or a person on the other end of the line. So I have to go back to the store. In this case, I went to the store near to where I live. So I went to SM San Lazaro and talked to their customer representative and tried to check if we got uh, if we had our connection, if it was filed, and they said it was. But again, after going to the store, we waited a few more days. Then we got nothing again, and I tried calling back again, futility. And then I think about a week later, I went back to the store and I made an ultimatum that, if they cannot get it installed the next day, then I'm going to look for another option, which is sad to say that I had only one option, which is Converge. And calling Converge was had a better experience in terms of, I don't know if they have fewer customers here or limited. They have more customer representatives to deal with their customers. I was already thinking of getting Converge, and one of their offerings that they mentioned, and I was thankful for the helpfulness of the uh, customer representative that she mentioned. So let me show you what I mean. They were offering this Converge Fiber X time of day. So meaning you can get better speeds or higher speeds on the time of day that you are, you know, uh, frequently using it at home. Is it during the day or during at night? So they would offer here, if you notice here, it's a go between their basic entry to their higher tier. If you were to look for a 300 mbps package, it costs you around 24 2500 bucks. So here you can see the time of day. So you can switch it off depending on your necessity. If you prefer during the day, the 300 Mbps, or during at night, 150 bps. The time is between 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. So if you're working still at home, then you want maximum coverage during the day, and then 150 during at night. Or if it's vice versa, then you can get that also. And as mentioned here, you can get minimum speeds of 45 to 90 mbps, and average speeds of 100 to 240 mbps. So that's the caveat here. So you'll never get maximum 300 or 100 mbps there. But the point here is they were discussing me the options, and obviously the only downside is you have to pay upfront, pay with Gcash, I think they mentioned, so that they can connect it ASAP already. So I was waiting for the conclusion of Globe here. So I said to the representative here at Converge to wait a bit. I'll make a decision the next day if we're going to select which plan was it. So I was waiting for Globe to settle it. So I went back again to their store and talked to one of the customer representative and asked what was the situation here. And obviously one could get heated if you're really that frustrated, which I had the right to be, because waiting for 3 weeks for PLDT to rectify the issue got me nowhere. And now when I went to Globe to get it installed, I had to wait a week. And when I waited a week, I found out there was a problem, meaning they submitted the job order that they call, and then it was sent back by their department that the line was disconnected, which is couldn't understand, or not that disconnected, but the job order was not encoded in their machine. So meaning there's no track, there's no information that I did applied a week earlier. So I don't know what happened with that customer representative that assisted me in the first place here. So meaning I had to redo the whole process again that day, and asked if they could expedite the process and if they could do it, by the next day. So that was on a Sunday again, and then the Monday. So I said I'll give them a chance, Monday to Tuesday. If they can't even do that, then I'll go over to Converge and apply there already. Anyway, so one would think that the ordeal was already over, right? Good thing that Globe was able to come through the next day. So on a Monday, I think around lunch, they came by our house and installed it. So woohoo! And they installed the line. They installed the router, and we checked it out, and it was running up and running. And then once the technicians left, little did I know, 3 hours later, the line was disconnected again. We lost internet. What's interesting is that I was mentioning this to my wife, was working outside at that time, that we have internet, and then later I had to message her, we lost internet again. And I couldn't understand what was the problem there. And I asked my wife at that time, before she came home, to go to the store and inquire and follow up, or report that there was an issue, because we cannot rely in their hotline customer service. And she reported it, and they say they were going to follow it up and send a job order so that they could send someone to get it checked. So Monday came, Tuesday came, no one came. So the second day, Wednesday, no one came. So I was getting a bit peeved. So around Wednesday afternoon, late afternoon, around 5, I decided to bring my kids to the mall and go to the store and inquire what was going on. And I followed it up, and they mentioned that the job order was rescinded because there was a disconnection problem. And I was asking, how can there be a connection? We just only got connected a few days earlier. So how can we be disconnected? Meaning we didn't pay for our line, which is an impossibility. Now there were conspiracy theories that was mentioned to me, because my wife had a friend who got Globe, but had the same problems. Initially got disconnected. They had to do a back job order before it got fixed. And then my mom talked to one of his brothers, siblings, and mentioned to him that it was the same, that they got Globe to install, and then right after the installation, there was a disconnection, and they got it fixed the next day. But on our case, we didn't got any service right after when we reported it immediately. And interesting enough, obviously I was pretty steamed at that time, but I was still calm and trying to ask the customer representative, can you help us out and be able to send someone to talk to someone directly, whether in their office or someone in that's the departments in charge of sending those technicians to install or to fix the line. I said, can you help us out, because it's pretty frustrating on what's happening here. Not encoding my information in the first place, delayed the installation for about a week, and then once it got installed, it was delayed again for several days because it got disconnected for whatever reason. And thankfully enough, one of the customer representatives contacted me, or messaged me that uh, messaged me through my phone personally, and asked or followed up if they were able to send someone. And here's the interesting part. The next day that I was thinking that they would send someone, I got a message from Globes stating, what was the message that they mentioned? And it got confusing, mixed messages here. So where was it? Where's the Globe here? Ah, the exact words were, uh, on a Thursday morning, they mentioned that, thank you for contacting us. Currently, we will not be able to process your on-site visit request due to the pending job order in your account. So for any concern regarding your service, you may log on to their website. So which is a futile effort if you're going to log on, because first is, if you tried using their hotline, it's a hot mess. And then they mentioned in their website that maybe you could try using their social media, Facebook account, which is automated also, which is very uh, futile as well. And I was about to leave and go to the store later that afternoon and cancel my plans and apply to Converge. And then a technician came. So it was kind of confusing for that day. So I didn't know what to make of it. Is there a miscommunication between those two sides? The order was not sent, or they sent a wrong report. I don't know what was the issues there, but they need to get it fixed, because it can be frustrating, and a lot of people could get easily heated up, and obviously the brunt of the problem would be borne or bared by the people who are frontliners, the technicians, even the customer representative. Anyway, finally the technician came here and checked our line, which was fine as mentioned, and they went to the post near our house where the connection from Globe to our house was initially made, and they checked the line, and there was a disconnection of sorts. So meaning, because if you were to check the lines, there are many lines, and if you look at up in the post, you'll see the lines are very confusing, disturbing in a sense, because all the different lines, the power lines, the electrical lines, for telephone, for even fiber connections, are intertwined. So maybe another installation was made, or someone was fixing something, and it dislodged our line there, and it took a couple of days before it was rectified, and we had to personally follow up, in a span of after a week. I think we made 3 calls, 2 3 visits, yeah, two visits at that. And we have to press a sense of urgency that you know we needed the enter. It's not as if we're not willing to pay. If they were suggesting, maybe sir, you would like to pay for a more expensive plan, maybe you could take care of it, and I had no problem. But as long as they get the lines fixed, we have our internet service, and we'll be up and running, and we're willing to pay the amount for the foreseeable future. And that the point here is, you made us sign to have this lockup period for about 2 years. So won't it be nice to ensure that the service is done smoothly, with less hassle to your customers? And you know, again, if they have tremendous experience, if the service is tremendous, through word of mouth, they'll do the marketing for you and advertise. Or maybe you should subscribe to PLDT, or even Globe, or even Converge. I was this close to shifting or choosing Converge here because they had better customer service, and I was thinking Globe would have better service because I've been using their Globe lines or smart mobile subscription for several years already, or let's say decade. I think decade, close to a decade already. So one would think that they would have the same experience. And actually, what's interesting, I was asking if the lines that I have for the mobile and the fiber would be intertwined. They said no, it has to be separate. They have different departments. But won't it be nice to just interconnect it since it's under my name, it's under the same name? If it's for business purposes, then it should be separate or segregated. But it was kind of interesting. But at the end of the day, thank goodness we were able to get our internet connections up and running. And I'm glad to say I'm happy with the service. But in terms of speed, yes, we were able to get in the north of 200, 250 during daytime. And upon checking now, if we were to see here, during at night, you get slower speeds now, lower than 100 Mbps of download speeds, and upload speeds of close to 100 only, or close to 90, and so forth, which is not bad. But during the day, we get, in their advertised speed. That's why, but if PLDT didn't bungle it up in the beginning, we wouldn't have noticed or considered choosing or shifting to a different subscription or ISPs here. And yet, they let this, persist. I don't know what the problem was on PLDT side, whether it's a server problem that they couldn't rectify in the weeks that we've given them ample time. Now, I was mentioned that they had to reset the entire area in our area here. And I'm sure the other neighbors that was subscribing to PLDT is also having the same problems here. And the sad fact is, my wife had to use our mobile data with our mobile subscription, which is kind of expensive here. And if we had to rely on that for work and for business, then the cost can pile up. And obviously, spending a fixed amount for your internet service, or fiber in this case at home, is always a more better for value service here. And I know I've said a lot already, but this is just my experience. Question is, did you also have this same experience with any of the carriers that we mentioned here? And leave your comments down below if you have the same experience, or share any of your experience in the past that you encountered. And it's not only the first time that I encountered a disconnection from PLDT. And one would always think that they could get it fixed right away, because obviously you don't want to piss off your customer or key customers that that pays a substantial amount for your services on a yearly basis. And the thing here is, maybe because they've grown too big, they thought they monopolized the market, which they technically do, because there's very little to no competition. And one can become complacent and neglect your customers, which is a big no-no here. And there's always a downside if you do that. And you know if these stories or these issues keeps on propping out, more and more customers will shift to other ISPs, in this case to your competitors here. So I don't know, we'll see how PLDT will rectify those issues. But as of right now, I'm happy with the service that Globe is offering. That's yet to be seen until further notice here. Anyway, it's just me here sharing my experience here. Hopefully, you've gained some insights as to the different aspects of going through the process of applying for a subscription, or internet subscription, or fiber subscription at that. And installation should be easy. Applying should be easier, whether it's through going to the store or applying online. Should be a smooth process, not a difficult ordeal, because your customers are willing to pay. That's the key. And if they're willing to pay, why not make it easier? Maybe you can add more services there. And maybe I would like to add this service, add another one, and so forth. And actually, I was even considering subscribing to Sky broadband. That was the last in my options. So if I couldn't get the internet by last week at the time, I would have considered any other option who could provide a better service. And luckily enough, the issue was rectified by Globe, and kudos to the customer representative I was talking to, and she followed it up that based on that miscommunication from their automated center that messaged me that they couldn't send someone, and then she called me right after that. Sir, were you able to get the technician to help you out? And I said to her, yes, I was able to get it, and I got mixed messages, and I showed this to the technician regarding the message I got from Globe. So I don't know what to make of it. So they need to get their ducks in a row in terms of communications to their customer, because obviously smooth transaction is important, but the feedback from your from the status update is very important, which is I'll be showcasing another video regarding updating your customers in terms of deliveries of your products or services. In this case, is very important, so that it solidifies the experience of your customers, so that they it would boost performance and spread the word that the company that offering such services is tremendous here. Anyway, I think that's it for today. So it's kind of long on this video. Hope everyone's still with me. Anyway, come back again for or you can check out my other videos if you're interested. So you have business update, and we're now back to normal programming. We'll have more business focused live segments every Fridays, and business updates every Wednesdays, and other videos on Monday. So as always, I'll see you again the next one. Take care.